Eli had always been drawn to the stars. Even as a child, he would spend hours staring at the night sky, imagining worlds beyond Earth. Now, as a lone space explorer, that dream had become a reality. His small ship, the Starseeker, glided silently through the uncharted reaches of the galaxy. Planetary charts were incomplete here, and communication with the Galactic Council was weak. He liked it that way. Alone, Eli felt alive. The Starseeker hummed steadily, but a sudden vibration ran through the hull. Warning lights flashed. The main console beeped urgently. Eli's fingers danced across the controls. Engine core fluctuations. Recalibrating, he muttered. The screen showed a red line climbing dangerously. His heart quickened. He had to find a safe place to land. Below him, a planet emerged from the void, glowing faintly in shades of green and purple. Its atmosphere shimmered like liquid crystal, and massive trees stretched into a sky tinged with golden light. Eli's eyes widened. "Perfect," he whispered, steering the ship toward a clearing that looked solid enough for landing. The descent was rough, the ship's hull groaning under the strain. Dust and colorful spores rose as the landing gears touched the ground. Eli exhaled deeply, relieved. The planet's gravity was slightly heavier than Earth's, but manageable. He shut down the engines and unbuckled his harness. Stepping out, he was greeted by a world both beautiful and strange. The air smelled faintly sweet like a mix of honey and rain. Plants glowed softly, casting shadows that moved like silent dancers. Strange, hovering creatures with translucent wings flitted above him. The planet was alive. Eli's curiosity pushed him forward, despite the nagging sense that he was being watched. He walked toward a cluster of massive trees, their trunks wider than his ship. The ground beneath him pulsed slightly, almost like it was breathing. Then a movement caught his eye. At first it was subtle, a shimmer in the distance, but it grew. Eli froze. From behind a hill, a figure emerged. Tall, elegant, humanoid, but not human. Its skin shimmered like liquid silver, and its eyes glowed a deep violet. A crown-like structure rose from its head, embedded with gemstones that radiated soft light. The figure moved with grace, each step silent yet commanding. Eli's breath caught in his throat. The figure stopped, tilting its head as if studying him. Its gaze was intense, almost piercing. Eli's instinct screamed caution. Hello?" he said, his voice trembling slightly. The figure's lips curved into a slight smile. "You are human," it said in a voice that resonated like music. Eli nodded, unsure if he should be polite or run. "You are alone," the figure continued, its eyes scanning him carefully. "Are you unattached human?" Eli blinked. The question was strange, but there was no threat in the voice, only curiosity. "I guess so," he replied cautiously. The figure stepped closer. Eli could feel its presence, powerful and majestic. It was taller than any human, yet there was a calm elegance about it that was almost hypnotic. "Interesting," it said softly. "You walk unbound in a galaxy full of threats. Few like you survive," Eli swallowed. He wanted to ask questions, but the figure's gaze held him in place. Who are you?" he finally managed. "I am Lyra," the figure said, "Queen of the Xerian Empire, and you, human, are far from your home. Why do you wander so boldly into uncharted space?" Eli hesitated. He didn't want to admit that his ship had malfunctioned and left him stranded. But hiding the truth seemed pointless. "I explore," he said finally. "I've been traveling for months, mapping systems and studying planets. I didn't mean to land here. My ship, well, it failed." Lyra nodded as if she understood more than he had said. "Curiosity, courage, independence," she murmured. "Qualities that are rare across the galaxy. Qualities I find fascinating." Eli's pulse quickened. He had heard stories of alien queens and interstellar rulers, but never expected to meet one in person. His mind raced. Was he in danger? Or was this an opportunity beyond his wildest dreams? "You are not like the others," Lyra continued. "Most species are bound by rules, traditions, fear. But you adapt. You endure. You survive. I sense potential in you, human." Eli swallowed hard. "Potential? For what?" Lyra's gaze softened almost tenderly. "To help shape the future. To stand against a darkness that threatens countless worlds." Eli blinked. Darkness, countless worlds? The words felt enormous, almost unreal. I don't know if I'm ready for that," he admitted. Lyra stepped closer, the air around her shimmering slightly. "Readiness is tested in moments, human. You are here now, and that alone marks the beginning." Eli looked around. The planet seemed alive, the trees and glowing plants shifting in rhythm with some silent pulse. Strange creatures watched from the shadows. He felt small yet significant. Somehow this planet, this alien queen, was drawing him into a destiny far beyond anything he had imagined. Lyra's eyes gleamed. "Tell me, human, do you trust yourself?" Eli hesitated. Trust himself? In this moment, with a being so powerful standing before him? He thought of Earth, his journey, the countless dangers he had faced in space. And he realized something. Humans had always found ways to survive, to overcome. He nodded slowly. "I trust myself." Lyra's smile widened. "Then perhaps your journey is not over. Perhaps it has only just begun." Eli's heart raced. He had faced storms, hostile planets, and malfunctioning ships, but nothing had prepared him for this. The Queen's presence was overwhelming yet inspiring. There was a spark of possibility in the air, an adventure that could change the galaxy. Before Eli could ask more, Lyra gestured, and the ground beneath them shifted. A pathway appeared, glowing softly in shades of violet and blue. It led toward a towering city in the distance, its spires reaching toward the sky, glimmering like jewels. "Come, human," Lyra said. "Walk with me. There is much to see, and much to learn." Eli took a deep breath. His instincts urged caution, but curiosity, excitement, and the thrill of the unknown pushed him forward. Step by step, he followed Lyra toward the city, leaving behind the safety of his ship. Each step felt like crossing a threshold into a new world, a world that could change his life forever. As they walked, Eli noticed the alien soldiers observing him silently, yet respectfully. They were unlike anything he had ever seen, tall, armored in luminous suits with eyes that glowed like stars. Yet none made a move to threaten him. Even in their silent vigilance, there was an unspoken recognition of his uniqueness. Eli realized something profound. Humans might be small and fragile compared to these beings, but they had something even the most advanced species often lacked: adaptability, intuition, and courage. For the first time, he felt truly valuable in a galaxy that had always seemed vast and indifferent. The sun, or whatever celestial body illuminated the sky, cast long shadows as they reached the gates of the city. Eli's heart pounded with a mix of fear, wonder, and excitement. Ahead lay the unknown: alien knowledge, unimaginable technology, and perhaps his role in a story larger than he could ever imagine. Lyra stopped at the gates, her eyes on him. "Tomorrow," she said softly, "you will begin your training. You will learn, adapt, and discover what makes humans remarkable. Tonight, rest. You have crossed the first step into a world few ever see." Eli nodded, overwhelmed yet exhilarated. He had survived countless dangers in the void of space, but this was different. He had entered a story that could shape the galaxy. And somehow he knew that humans, despite their small size, fragile bodies, and simple origins, had a role that no other species could fulfill. As the gates closed behind him, Eli looked up at the shimmering city. He was no longer just a lone explorer. He was part of something bigger. And for the first time in his life, he understood the truth of Lyra's words. Humans were small, but capable of greatness beyond imagination. And so, the adventure began. The city of Oralis stretched across the horizon like a jewel in space. Towering spires of crystal and metal reflected the golden light of Xyrion's twin suns. Eli walked beside Lyra, his senses overwhelmed by the colors, sounds, and movement of the alien metropolis. Despite the city's beauty, there was a quiet discipline in the air. Every soldier, citizen, and creature moved with purpose, as if the entire planet had learned to function as one living organism. "Why? Are humans so rare here?" Eli asked, curiosity tugging at his tongue. Lyra's eyes sparkled with interest. "Humans are rare because most species remain bound by fear or tradition. Your kind, however, moves forward despite danger, adapts quickly, and thrives under uncertainty. Few can match that in the galaxy." Eli's chest swelled with pride, though he tried to hide it. He had always known humans were resilient, but hearing it from the ruler of an entire alien empire was unlike anything he had imagined. They reached a high platform overlooking a valley filled with bioluminescent gardens. Strange floating vehicles glided silently through the air. Lyra gestured toward them. "You have survived far from your home, human. But the galaxy is on the brink of a challenge unlike any before. You could help us if you choose to." Eli frowned. "Help? You how? I'm just one person. Lyra's gaze was steady, unwavering. One person can make a difference. Your species possesses traits many others lack. Adaptability, resourcefulness, creativity. That is why I seek humans. You may be small, but your impact can be great. Eli took a deep breath. He had faced storms, rogue asteroids, and hostile planets, but nothing prepared him for the weight of Lyra's words. What is the challenge? Lyra's expression darkened. A threat from beyond the known galaxy. A machine-based species called the Null Swarm. They consume entire worlds, leaving nothing behind. Planets, life, culture, all erased. They are relentless, efficient, and devoid of mercy. Eli's stomach tightened. He had seen dangerous phenomena in space, but the idea of a species that destroyed planets was terrifying. How can you stop them? Lyra raised her hand, and a holographic projection appeared before them, hovering in the air. Images of star systems flashed, some glowing peacefully, others marked in red as destroyed. Many have tried. Few have succeeded. The Null Swarm adapts quickly, learns quickly, but they have never faced humans. Eli blinked. Me, alone? You will not be alone, Lyra said. You will work alongside my best commanders, combining your skills with the strengths of my soldiers. But humans bring something new. Creativity, unpredictability, the spark of survival. That is why I sought you. Eli stared at the projection, feeling the enormity of the situation. Entire worlds at risk, civilizations wiped out, and now somehow he was being asked to play a role. Fear tugged at him, but beneath it was another feeling, determination. Humans might be small, but they were survivors. They could endure, adapt, and fight in ways even advanced species could not predict. Lyra's eyes softened. You may return to your ship safely. That is always an option. But I offer a choice. Join me, learn our ways, and help save countless lives. Eli thought of Earth, of his life alone in space, mapping systems, exploring the unknown. He had always wanted purpose beyond exploration. Could this be it? Could he truly make a difference? Slowly he nodded. I will help. A subtle smile appeared on Lyra's face. Wise decision, human. You will see that the galaxy is larger and more complex than you have ever imagined. Your skills will be tested, and your courage will shape the fate of many. She turned, motioning for Eli to follow. They walked toward a massive tower at the center of the city. Its walls shimmered with alien energy, and the air around it thrummed with power. Inside you will learn our ways, combat strategy, diplomacy, and the unique strengths of your species. Only then can you face the Null Swarm. Eli followed, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. The tower's interior was vast, filled with corridors that seemed endless, rooms with floating platforms and devices beyond his understanding. Alien soldiers moved efficiently, training and communicating in a language Eli could not yet comprehend. Lyra led him to a chamber that overlooked a massive training arena. Here you will learn to combine human intuition with alien technology, she explained. Your mind and body will adapt to challenges faster than any conventional soldier. The Null Swarm cannot predict creativity, improvisation, or emotion. These are the advantages humans bring. Eli took a deep breath. Training with advanced alien technology and soldiers was daunting, but he felt a surge of excitement. Humans had always survived impossible odds, often through quick thinking and courage. Perhaps here his species' greatest strengths would finally shine. Lyra motioned to a holographic display. Meet your team. Several alien commanders appeared, each distinct in appearance and demeanor. Some were tall and armored, others sleek and agile. One, a young commander named Renar, crossed his arms and regarded Eli skeptically. You're human, Renar said bluntly. I hope you can keep up, Eli straightened. I've survived worse than a machine army, he replied confidently. Lyra's voice carried authority. Renar, you will guide the human. But remember, humans think differently. Their methods may seem unorthodox, yet they often succeed where logic fails. Renar hesitated, then nodded. We shall see. The next hours were filled with orientation. Eli learned about alien combat techniques, advanced weaponry, and defensive strategies. The physical training was intense. He struggled at first, but his human adaptability allowed him to catch up quickly. He noticed something remarkable. Humans' ability to improvise gave them an edge. Where aliens followed precise patterns, Eli could make split-second decisions that surprised even the commanders. During a break, Eli asked Lyra, "Why me? Why risk a human?" Lyra regarded him thoughtfully. Because humans bring balance. Where aliens excel in strength, speed, or technology, humans excel in spirit, intuition, and courage. You are unpredictable. You are resilient. And when hope seems lost, humans never give up. Eli felt a warmth in his chest. The words were not just praise, they were a challenge. To prove that humans could stand alongside the galaxy's most advanced species. As the day turned to night, Eli was led to a resting chamber. The view outside was breathtaking. Twin moons reflected on rivers of glowing liquid, and the sky shimmered with colors he had never seen. Despite the beauty, he could not sleep easily. Thoughts of the Null Swarm, of the destruction they could cause, and of his role in the coming battles filled his mind. Yet, amid the fear, there was determination. Humans had survived countless dangers on their home planet. Across oceans, forests, and deserts, they had explored, built, and adapted. If any species could face the unknown and rise, it was them. The next morning, Eli awoke with renewed purpose. Lyra was waiting. "Today," she said, "your training begins in earnest. You will face simulations, puzzles, and combat scenarios designed to test your instincts. Remember, human, your mind is your greatest weapon." Eli nodded. He felt the weight of responsibility, but also the thrill of possibility. Every step he took on Zirion, every challenge he faced, was an opportunity to prove that humans, though small, could be extraordinary. Lyra led him to the arena, where holographic simulations flickered to life. Massive ships, alien landscapes, and mechanical threats appeared before him. "The Null Swarm is relentless," she said. "You must think, adapt, and survive." Eli's heart pounded. The simulations were complex, but his human instincts guided him. He improvised solutions, avoided traps, and outsmarted the holographic machines. The alien commanders watched silently, then began nodding in approval. Even Reinar's skeptical expression softened. "You are better than I expected," Reinar admitted grudgingly. "Perhaps humans are not so weak after all." Eli smiled. "We have our moments," he said lightly, but inside he felt pride. Lyra observed quietly, her eyes reflecting the glow of the simulations. "See, human? Your species is unique. Others may have strength or speed, but you have creativity, courage, and the will to survive. These are the qualities that can turn the tide of war." Eli felt a surge of determination. The Null Swarm might be terrifying, vast and unstoppable, but humans had something the machines could never understand: heart. And sometimes heart was stronger than any weapon. As the day ended, Eli looked around the arena. He was no longer just a lone explorer. He was part of something larger, a cause that could save countless worlds. And for the first time, he felt that humans, despite their size, their fragility, and their simple beginnings, could be the spark that ignited hope across the galaxy. And so, Eli's journey with Lyra and the Zirion Empire began. The galaxy was dangerous, uncertain, and vast, but he was ready. Humans always were. The sun rose over Oralis, casting long beams of golden light across the city. Eli stretched, feeling both excitement and nerves. Today marked the beginning of his true training. He had learned the basics yesterday, but now Lyra had promised that he would push beyond anything he had imagined. He met Lyra in the central training arena, a massive circular space surrounded by high walls of shimmering crystal. Alien soldiers moved with precision, practicing combat maneuvers that seemed almost like a dance. Each step, each strike had been perfected over decades. Eli felt a pang of intimidation. Could a human so small and inexperienced compared to these beings truly keep up? Lyra approached him gracefully, her eyes shining with focus. "Today, human, you will learn to combine your instincts with our techniques. Watch carefully and remember, your unpredictability is your strength." Eli nodded. "I'll do my best." Lyra signaled to the alien instructors, and holographic projections of various combat scenarios appeared. Massive simulations of enemy ships, Null Swarm drones, and treacherous terrains filled the arena. Eli's first task was navigation and evasion. He had to move quickly, avoid traps, and outsmart mechanical foes. At first, he struggled. The alien tactics were unfamiliar, precise, and overwhelming. A holographic drone zipped past him, and he barely ducked in time. Another simulation fired lasers in complex patterns. Eli jumped, rolled, and dodged, relying on quick thinking rather than strict training. Slowly, he began to notice patterns. He adjusted, improvised, and even added maneuvers the instructors had not anticipated. Lyra observed silently, her expression unreadable. But the alien commanders watching began to murmur among themselves. Eli was small and human, but he was adapting. His ability to improvise, to think beyond programmed patterns, was clearly visible. "You see, Reinar," Lyra said softly, "the human mind is not bound by routine. It sees possibilities that others overlook. That is why he is valuable." Reinar frowned but did not argue. Instead, he continued to watch Eli carefully. By midday, Eli had moved to the second part of the training: weapon mastery. The Xerian weapons were unlike anything he had encountered. Energy blades, pulse rifles, and defensive shields all required synchronization with the user's neural impulses. Humans did not have natural compatibility, but Eli was determined. He gripped the energy blade and felt it hum in his hands. The first attempts were clumsy. He nearly tripped over his own feet as the blade reacted unpredictably. Alien soldiers moved smoothly around him, executing flawless attacks. Eli paused, breathing deeply. He could do this. He focused, letting instinct guide him. Slowly, the blade responded to his intentions. He struck, blocked, and moved with increasing confidence. A holographic null swarm drone appeared, simulating an enemy attack. Eli's movements were fluid, yet different from the alien soldiers. Instead of following predictable patterns, he danced around the drone, creating openings that the AI could not predict. The drone collapsed, its simulation ending. The commanders exchanged impressed glances. Reinar stepped forward. "Not bad. Human," he said. "You may actually survive our training." Eli smiled, feeling a mixture of pride and relief. "Thanks," he replied. "I guess humans have their moments." Lyra's voice rang out across the arena.
"Indeed, now we move to strategy." Eli's heart sank slightly.
Strategy had always been theoretical on Earth. Here it was alive, dynamic, and alien. The holographic map of the galaxy projected above the arena, showing planets, fleets, and countless variables. Lyra explained the Null Swarm's tactics: relentless advance, adaptive attacks, and destruction of resources. "You must think like them," she instructed. "Predict their moves, plan counterattacks, and adapt when they change. Humans often rely on improvisation in moments of crisis. That is your advantage." Eli studied the map carefully. He noticed that the Null Swarm attacked in patterns based on resources and weaknesses. Using a combination of logic and intuition, he suggested a diversionary tactic, something the alien commanders had not considered. Lyra's eyes glimmered with approval. "Interesting. Human intuition combined with alien analysis. This is the method we will use." Over the next few days, Eli's training intensified. He faced simulation after simulation, each more complex than the last. Alien soldiers tried to predict his moves only to be surprised by his improvisation. His human traits, quick thinking, adaptability, and resourcefulness, shone brightly. One day Reinar approached him privately. "You're better than I thought," he admitted. "I doubted humans, but you've proven unpredictable and effective." Eli shrugged. "I just do what comes naturally." "Humans survive by adapting," Reinar smirked. "Perhaps we underestimated your species, perhaps humans have more to offer than we realized." Eli felt a warm satisfaction. Recognition from a skeptical alien commander was meaningful. But he also knew that training was only the beginning. The Null Swarm was real, vast, and relentless. Their simulations were preparation, but the real test would be much harder. Lyra observed Eli during a night session. The arena was quiet, lit only by the glowing flora outside. "You are progressing faster than expected," she said softly. "Your species' qualities, intuition, courage, flexibility, are rare even among advanced races. You see solutions where others see only obstacles." Eli looked down at his hands, tired but exhilarated. "I just try to survive and find a way." "That's what humans do," Lyra nodded. "And that is why the galaxy needs humans. You may be small, but you carry the spark that can ignite hope." The next challenge tested leadership. Eli was placed in command of a mixed team, aliens with incredible strength, speed, and precision, paired with human soldiers from other planets. Their mission was a simulated rescue of a colony under Null Swarm attack. Eli felt the weight of responsibility immediately. His team hesitated, unsure how to respond to his unconventional commands. But he remembered Lyra's lessons: trust instincts, observe carefully, adapt quickly. He issued orders based on patterns he noticed in the simulation. When obstacles appeared, he improvised, using terrain and alien abilities in new ways. The team followed, initially skeptical but soon trusting his judgment. By the end, the mission was a success. The simulation marked not just victory, but respect. Lyra approached him afterward. "Leadership, human. You inspire confidence not through strength alone, but through clarity, courage, and adaptability. These are qualities even the most advanced species cannot teach." Eli felt a deep sense of accomplishment. He was no longer just a lone explorer. He was part of a team, respected and trusted. And more importantly, he realized that humans had unique strengths: intuition, creativity, courage that even the galaxy's most advanced species could rely upon. One evening, Eli wandered the streets of Oralis, reflecting on his journey so far. The city shimmered under twin moons, and the alien citizens moved with quiet purpose. He thought of Earth, of humanity's history, explorers, inventors, survivors. Across millennia, humans had faced storms, plagues, wars, and the unknown. They had survived because they adapted, because they never gave up. And now, here in the heart of Xerion, facing threats beyond comprehension, Eli realized that those same traits were exactly what the galaxy needed. Humans might be small, fragile, and young in comparison to ancient alien civilizations, but they carried a spark, a resilience and a courage that could change the outcome of wars. Even against impossible odds, Lyra found him later, standing on a balcony overlooking the city. "You are learning quickly, human. Faster than expected." Eli turned to her, smiling. "I just do what humans do best: adapt, survive, and find a way." She nodded, her eyes reflecting the glow of the city. "And that is why I sought you. The Null Swarm is coming, and the galaxy will need more than strength. It will need ingenuity, courage, and the heart of a human. You are ready to play your part." Eli felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. The training was not just about combat or strategy. It was about proving that humans, small and fragile as they might seem, could face overwhelming odds and prevail. As night fell, Eli returned to his chamber, exhausted but exhilarated. His body ached from training, but his mind buzzed with ideas, tactics, and possibilities. He thought of the Null Swarm, of planets at risk, and of the humans who could one day make a difference. He lay down, looking at the ceiling that shimmered with alien energy. Sleep came slowly, filled with dreams of vast star systems, strange creatures, and battles yet to come. But beneath the fatigue and uncertainty, one thought remained clear. Humans might be small, but they were capable of greatness. And the galaxy had only begun to see their potential. Tomorrow would bring more training, more challenges, and the first real tests of his skills. But for the first time, Eli felt certain of one truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were extraordinary. And the Null Swarm would soon learn that humans, unpredictable and determined, were not to be underestimated. The alarms blared across Oralis, piercing the quiet hum of the city. Eli's eyes snapped open. He had trained for simulations, drills, and controlled exercises, but nothing could fully prepare him for the real thing. Lyra appeared at the doorway, her expression calm yet urgent. "They have arrived," she said. "The Null Swarm approaches. Entire sectors are under attack. Your training will now be tested in reality." Eli's heart pounded. This was it, the moment he had feared and anticipated. He had learned alien tactics, mastered their weapons, and proven himself in simulations, but facing a real enemy was entirely different. He followed Lyra to the command center, a vast chamber of glowing panels and holographic maps. The Null Swarm was advancing rapidly, consuming everything in its path. Red markers on the map indicated destroyed planets, entire civilizations reduced to silence. Eli swallowed hard. "How do we stop them?" he asked. Lyra's gaze was steady. "We adapt. We innovate. Humans are rare because you can act where others are trapped by routine. That is why you are here. That is why I sought you." Eli nodded. Fear lingered, but determination surged. He would not let these words be wasted. Humans had always survived against impossible odds, and now he had a chance to prove that their ingenuity could save worlds. Lyra gestured to a tactical display. "The Null Swarm attacks in predictable waves, but their central intelligence learns quickly. We must act unpredictably. That is where humans excel." Eli studied the map, observing patterns the alien commanders had not noticed. The swarm favored attack routes that seemed efficient, but left vulnerabilities near planetary energy hubs. If we can distract their main fleets while reinforcing those hubs, we can protect multiple planets at once, he suggested. Lyra's eyes gleamed. Exactly. Your insight shows the human advantage, creativity and quick judgment. We will deploy your plan immediately. Eli led the strike teams, combining alien strength with human improvisation. They moved quickly, setting traps, diverting enemy fleets, and reinforcing vulnerable points. Alien soldiers were skeptical at first, but Eli's commands were clear, precise, and effective. The first wave of null swarm drones arrived, descending like dark clouds. Machines with glowing red cores and sharp appendages swarmed planets, firing energy beams and absorbing resources. Alien soldiers attacked with power and precision, but the swarm adapted almost instantly. Eli's heart raced. He had to stay ahead. Using terrain, decoys, and quick maneuvers, he found gaps in the swarm's formation. Human improvisation allowed them to outsmart the relentless machines. A plan that would have failed under rigid strategy succeeded because Eli thought differently. Unpredictably, Reinar, once skeptical, shouted across the battlefield. The human, he sees openings no one else notices. Eli grinned briefly, even as energy blasts whizzed past him. Humans were small, yes, but their minds were sharp. He adjusted troop positions, redirected energy shields, and used alien vehicles in creative ways to trap and destroy drones. One by one, the swarm's units fell, their coordination disrupted by unexpected human tactics. Lyra observed from the command deck. See, human? Strength alone cannot win this war. Innovation, courage, and intuition are the keys. You are showing the galaxy why humans matter. Hours passed. The null swarm's waves were relentless, but Eli's strategies kept the losses minimal. The alien commanders began to trust him fully. Even Reinar approached Eli mid-battle. Your tactics are remarkable. Humans may be rare, but they are essential, he admitted. Eli felt a rush of pride, but there was no time to celebrate. Another wave of swarm drones appeared, this time targeting a critical energy hub on a distant planet. The hub powered entire defense systems. If it fell, multiple worlds would be exposed. Eli acted immediately. We split forces, he ordered. Half of us defend the hub directly. The other half create a diversion near the swarm's flanks. We need speed and unpredictability. Alien soldiers nodded, moving with practiced efficiency. Eli coordinated from a hover platform, observing movements, predicting enemy responses, and adjusting strategies on the fly. Human improvisation became the force multiplier. The battle was intense. Machines struck with precision, but Eli anticipated, countered, and adapted. He used alien technology in ways even their inventors hadn't considered, redirecting energy beams, deploying temporary force fields, and luring drones into traps. When the dust settled, the energy hub was intact. Planets had been saved. The null swarm retreated temporarily, disrupted by human ingenuity. Alien soldiers cheered, their admiration for Eli clear. Even Reinar nodded, respect in his gaze. Lyra approached him in the aftermath, her expression proud. You have done more than survive, human. You have turned the tide in moments where conventional tactics would have failed. Your species' qualities, adaptability, courage, creativity, are proving decisive. Eli wiped sweat from his brow, exhausted but exhilarated. We did it. Together, he said, nodding toward the alien soldiers around him. Humans were small, yes, but when they worked alongside others, their impact could be immense. But the victory was temporary. The null swarm was not defeated. They were adaptive, relentless, and enormous in scale. Eli knew the next waves would be even more challenging. Lyra's voice broke the silence. You will need to push further, human. Their central intelligence is learning from each encounter. We must be faster, smarter, and more creative, and you will lead innovation in ways even we cannot predict. Eli felt the weight of responsibility, but also the thrill of purpose. Humans survived because they adapted. Humans thrived because they could think beyond patterns, beyond rules, beyond fear, and now the galaxy depended on those very qualities. Over the next several days, Eli continued to lead small strike teams, each engagement more complex than the last. The null swarm tested their defenses relentlessly, but humans' ingenuity and unpredictability kept them one step ahead. Eli combined alien tactics with human intuition, creating strategies that surprised even the swarm's central intelligence. During one intense mission, Eli devised a plan to collapse a series of asteroid belts into a swarm formation. using gravity and momentum to destroy dozens of enemy drones at once. The alien commanders were amazed. No one would have thought of that, Reinar admitted. Humans see the universe differently. That is their strength. Eli smiled, exhausted but proud. We survive. By thinking, adapting, and never giving up. Lyra watched silently, a faint smile on her face. She had predicted humans' potential, but seeing it in action was far beyond expectation. The galaxy underestimates humans, she murmured. Small, fragile, yet capable of extraordinary feats. They remind even the oldest empires what it means to survive. As the null swarm retreated temporarily, Eli finally allowed himself a moment to breathe. The city of Oralis was safe, at least for now. The planets they protected had survived, and humans had played a crucial role, not just as participants, but as innovators, leaders, and saviors. Eli looked up at the twin moons of Xerion, glowing in the sky. He thought of Earth, of humanity's history. Explorers, survivors, inventors, and fighters. They had faced countless threats and adapted to every challenge. And now across the galaxy, their unique strengths were proving vital. Lyra approached him, her voice calm yet commanding. Tomorrow the null swarm will return. And when they do, they will bring more fleets, more machines, more destruction. You will need to push your ingenuity further than ever before. Are you ready, human? Eli's jaw tightened. Yes, humans survive. Humans fight, and humans adapt, Lyra nodded, satisfied. Good. Then the galaxy has hope because you are here. Eli felt a surge of determination. The battles were far from over, but one thing was certain. Humans, small and fragile though they might seem, carried qualities that no machine, no empire, and no enemy could fully predict. Courage, creativity, and adaptability were their weapons, and the null swarm would soon learn that underestimating humans was a fatal mistake. The night fell over Oralis, but Eli could not rest entirely. His mind was alive with plans, strategies, and possibilities. The galaxy was vast, the enemy relentless, but humans had a spark, a resilience, and a heart that no machine could destroy. And in the quiet glow of the twin moons, Eli understood something profound. The null swarm might be powerful, but humans, unexpected, clever, and determined, were capable of turning the tide of any war. The real battle was only beginning, but Eli was ready. Humans had always survived against impossible odds, and now across the stars they were proving why. The galaxy held its breath. After days of relentless attacks, the null swarm had regrouped and launched their largest assault yet. Entire fleets advanced, their mechanical forms glinting with red energy, ready to consume everything in their path. Planets trembled under the pressure of the invasion. The fate of countless worlds hung in the balance. Eli stood on the bridge of Lyra's flagship, the Oralis Dawn, overlooking the battle. Alien commanders prepared their forces, ships maneuvering in precise formations. Yet the tension was palpable. This was no simulation. This was the culmination of everything they had trained for, and Eli knew that the null swarm's central intelligence would adapt faster than ever. Lyra approached him, her presence commanding yet calm. This is it, human. The final battle. The swarm's intelligence learns with every encounter. You must act unpredictably. You must innovate. The galaxy depends on it. Eli nodded, taking a deep breath. His training, simulations, and prior engagements had prepared him for this moment. But preparation alone would not be enough. Humans had survived the impossible before, not through sheer strength, but through ingenuity, courage, and determination. And now he would prove it again. The battle began. The null swarm's ships surged forward, overwhelming the frontline defenses. Energy beams cut through space, and explosions erupted as alien ships engaged in desperate maneuvers. Eli's mind raced, analyzing patterns, predicting movements, and seeking vulnerabilities. Human, your strategy? Reinar asked, his voice tense. Eli's eyes scanned the holographic map. He spotted the swarm's central fleet, a massive formation surrounding a massive planet they intended to consume. We split forces, he said quickly. Half of our fleet draws their attention toward the outer sectors. The other half, led by me, will target their core fleet directly, use diversion, misdirection, and speed. The swarm learns, but it cannot anticipate creativity. The alien commanders hesitated briefly, but then followed his orders. Ships moved as one under his guidance, combining precision with human unpredictability. Eli piloted his strike team through swarming drones, narrowly avoiding energy beams. He used gravity wells from nearby asteroids, redirecting enemy ships into traps. Explosions erupted around him, but he remained focused. Every decision, every maneuver was calculated yet flexible, adjusting to the constantly changing battlefield. The central swarm intelligence observed, adapting. Drones changed formations, energy shields recalibrated, and attacks became more coordinated. But Eli was faster. He improvised continuously, using the environment, alien technology, and unexpected tactics to stay ahead. At one critical moment, a massive energy wave threatened to destroy an allied fleet. Eli acted instantly, deploying a decoy ship and redirecting the wave toward a safe trajectory. The fleet survived. The null swarm hesitated, unable to predict the human mind's sudden creativity. Reinar shouted across the comms, "The human! He's turning the battle! We can win!" Eli's focus never wavered. He noticed a pattern in the swarm's central fleet. Their main intelligence relied on rapid feedback loops, making them fast but predictable in reaction to direct attacks. An idea formed in his mind, a risky maneuver, but it might succeed. He instructed his team to feign a retreat, drawing the swarm's main fleet into a narrow asteroid corridor. Energy shields held and alien ships followed. The swarm, thinking it had advantage, pursued aggressively. Eli had anticipated this. At the precise moment, he triggered a sequence of gravitational pulses, collapsing parts of the asteroid corridor onto the swarm's formation. Massive explosions erupted, disrupting communications and disabling a large portion of the fleet. Alien commanders cheered. Even Lyra allowed a rare smile. "Incredible," she whispered. "The human mind, it sees possibilities we never considered." Eli pressed forward. With the swarm destabilized, he led a direct assault on the central intelligence, coordinating alien fleets, deploying decoys, and using alien technology in ways their creators had never imagined. The swarm's core could adapt, but it could not anticipate human creativity and courage. Step by step, the null swarm was dismantled. Hours later, the final drone exploded and silence filled the void. The galaxy was safe, for now. Planetary defenses held. The null swarm was defeated. And humans, through Eli's ingenuity and courage, had played the decisive role. Lyra stood beside him on the flagship's observation deck, overlooking the remnants of the battlefield. Ships moved cautiously, assessing damage, rescuing survivors, and repairing what remained. She turned to Eli, her eyes filled with respect and pride. "You have done more than survive, human," she said. "You have demonstrated the power of your species. Strength alone could not have achieved this victory. Only courage, adaptability, and innovation could." Eli felt a wave of exhaustion, relief, and pride. He looked at the alien commanders, the soldiers, and the surviving fleets. "We did it together," he said. "Humans are small, yes, but we survive, we adapt, and we fight when it matters most." Reinar stepped forward, his expression solemn yet respectful. "I doubted you at first," he admitted. "But humans, your species is extraordinary. You see the universe differently, and that difference has saved countless lives today." Eli nodded. Recognition from Reinar meant more than words. Humans had always been underestimated, yet they had risen in the galaxy's darkest hour. Lyra raised her hand, and a message broadcasted across the surviving allied planets. "Citizens of the galaxy," her voice rang with authority and grace. "The null swarm has been defeated through the combined efforts of countless species. But today we honor one in particular, a human, Eli, whose courage, ingenuity, and determination proved decisive, demonstrating that even the smallest species can leave the largest mark." Eli felt a mixture of humility and pride. Humans were often seen as weak, small, and fragile, yet here, in the heart of the galaxy, they had made history. Their qualities, creativity, adaptability, courage, had tipped the scales in favor of life and freedom. As celebrations began, Eli walked through Auralis with Lyra. The streets shimmered with lights, citizens cheered, and alien soldiers saluted. Humans had earned their place among the stars, not by strength alone, but through qualities that no machine or enemy could replicate. Lyra spoke softly, almost to herself. "Humans are rare yet remarkable, small, fragile, yet capable of greatness beyond measure." Eli smiled. "We've always survived. We've always found a way. That's what makes us human." Lyra nodded. "And now the galaxy knows it too. The universe is vast and full of threats, but with humans among us there is hope. That evening, Eli stood on a balcony overlooking the city, the twin moons casting silvery light across Xerion. He thought of Earth, of humanity's history, explorers who crossed oceans, inventors who created the impossible, survivors who endured famine, storms, and war. Humans had faced countless odds and overcome them through courage, creativity, and resilience. And now, here, in the vastness of space, those same qualities had saved entire worlds. Eli felt a profound sense of purpose. Humans were not just survivors. They were a force of ingenuity and courage in a galaxy that often underestimated them. Lyra joined him silently. "You have proven what I hoped, human. Your species is not just a part of the galaxy. You are vital to it. Your kind reminds all of us what it means to endure, to innovate, and to fight for what is right." Eli nodded. "It wasn't just me. Humans thrive when they work together, with others, with allies. And today that combination made a difference." Lyra's smile reflected both pride and admiration. "The galaxy is safer because of your courage, Eli, and the galaxy will remember. Humans are no longer simply explorers. You are heroes, innovators, and protectors of countless worlds." Eli felt a warmth in his chest. He thought of the adventures yet to come, of threats lurking in uncharted space, and of the role humans would continue to play. Humans were small, yes, but they carried a spark, the spark of ingenuity, courage, and hope that could light even the darkest corners of the universe. As the celebrations continued below, Eli stood quietly beside Lyra, reflecting. The null swarm was gone, at least for now. Planets were safe. But the galaxy was vast, full of challenges, mysteries, and threats yet unknown. And humans, despite their small size and fragile beginnings, had proven that they could face anything through courage, adaptability, and determination. Lyra's voice broke his thoughts. "Tomorrow we begin rebuilding. But tonight, human, rest. You have earned it." Eli looked at the twin moons and smiled. He felt a profound sense of belonging, not just to his species, but to the galaxy itself. Humans had survived countless challenges on Earth. Now, they had survived and thrived among the stars, and he knew without doubt that humans would continue to leave their mark across the universe. The adventure was not over. The galaxy held infinite possibilities. But Eli also knew one truth. Humans, small and fragile though they might seem, could shape the destiny of worlds. And for that, the galaxy would always remember their courage, creativity, and heart.